Okay, this is the review of the Tap Splitter by ABD Tools. So this is their compact version. Comes with all the bits you need, just no case I believe, and enough nuts to go on. And you also get instructions as well. So it's not a booklet, but it's certainly enough to kind of get you going really. So what we're going to do is give it a review, give it a try on a particularly difficult tap that's kind of got really tight to turn off and back on again. So let's give it a go. First thing is water off. So I've got a combi boiler. I don't have any small valves on the tap itself, so I'm going to have to do the mains. So this is where the mains comes in on the kitchen. So let's switch this one off. Might be a bit stiff. Well, 6 turns, believe it or not, so I thought it was just going around in circles, but that's water off now. I might turn the kitchen one on just to drain it a bit further, so let's prise this off on the top. And then we've got Phillips underneath, and what we're doing here is this is just removing the handle, if you like. So this is the sort of thing you end up chucking down the sink, so that's why the plug goes in the hole. Good opportunity to clean all the grime under there, so I'll do that later. And here we are, this is the offending item. Now I've tried this before and it's an absolute mission getting this off. I mean, yeah, you can do it, you need to grip this, you need to use pliers here, but of course the risks are I could end up moving this tap around on its mountings, which doesn't do any good for the pipe itself. Probably end up scratching this, and of course I could end up just smashing the tile as I come around, and yeah, a bit of a mess. So let's try the tap splitter. Alright, so I've never used one of these before, so not quite sure how it all kind of plumbs together, although I've seen the video, it's on YouTube, so I can always refer back to that if the instructions aren't very good. So bit crusty on there, but I suppose for, well, I pay about £24 including postage, it wasn't too bad. So you can see you're going to have to take all these bits and pieces off, which is again another good reason to make sure that nothing can drop down the plug hole. Oh, I had to do an edit for this one, that took a little while. Washers. Okay. Oh, there's more. Okay, so all these bits in here. So here's all of our accessories. So I guess you need to find the right one to fit on there. Okay. Not an exact fit. Just hoping for more of a real bang-on fit. This one's alright, but there's a bit of play in there, which is a bit disappointing actually. Because none of these go in. This could be interesting. Have I missed it? No, that's definitely not going to go on there. This big one is ridiculous, so that one there is the best we've got. I don't know if that's going to work. Still, let's continue. So, I've got a couple of tubes here. One that goes over to protect, and I believe that goes over there like that, and we've got this little beauty which actually fits inside. Let's unscrew this. This is some sort of pin that just holds everything together. Oh, I see, right, that kind of does that. Okay, and then once we've got that, this piece is your main unscrewing mech. Goes in like that, I believe. Let's get it the right way around, might be better. Okay, a little bit tricky, I can see, so I'm going to have to take my time. This actually needs to come out further. can see what they're doing here now, because that comes down. To that. What does this do? Does this just kind of keep it in place? Yeah, I think so. There we go. And then we've got a couple of washers. There you go, on like that. Largest first, potentially. And then your nut. So what you're doing here is using really high torque to unscrew this sticky bolt, rather than just trying to use brute force and no torque, and that's when you end up breaking stuff. I suppose you could even break the bowl as well, basin. Right, so it's beginning to pull now actually, and then you start to wind. So let's have a look. I think it's actually done it already. Just by doing that, I felt a quick resistance then to break. So there's no effort at all. You can see I'm just using a finger on this one. Well, let's see if that's done it. Don't need to go all the way out for this one now that we've assembled it. So let's do that. Oh, that's amazing. That actually works really well. So yeah, that's literally broken the seal. So now I'm just going to do the rest of it. You can see a little bit of water coming out, so that's going to get the towel pretty wet. For dribbling, I guess my main stopcock isn't completely sealed, but there we go. So I'm going to continue doing this, and there we go. So it's always interesting to see the condition of the washer, and this one's, yeah, it's a bit of a mess. Hard as nails. The seat's okay. Probably could do with a bit of a clean up. So I'll see what I can do with that. And to remove the dead washing, because there's quite a bit of limescale actually. So it needs a good clean. In fact, you could just buy another one of these and replace it, but we'll see what happens, because this was so easy to do now. There's no wrenching, and that's still in place, thankfully. So this is with the washer out, as you can see. This is a brand new washer. Pop that onto there. I've actually cleaned the base in there as well. Pop that on like so. Tiny nut, don't drop this anywhere down the plug hole. Simply screw it back on. This could be a screw out of interest. Just going to use the socket set. This is 6mm. Very handy. Don't need masses of pressure for there. Well, okay, I've had a good old clean, so I've used a bit of wet and dry just to kind of polish up the bits that were really manky. That looks okay now for the moment. So I might look for one of these. I might take a good picture of it, just so that when I go to B&Q, but you know, to grab another one, other DIY stores are available. They know, or I know what to get, because I think size is pretty critical, and spline, etc. A bit disgusting in there actually. Might have a quick go at that. We'll see. Put a new washer on. So the old one definitely had a few cuts and splits. That cut there was where there was a really big piece of lime scale that had just kind of like chipped away at that, so I've poked that off. I've had a good old clean down here, tiny bit of this in here, nothing too severe with the old wet and dry in here, just to make the seat a little bit more smooth. It's looking pretty good now. There's no rough bits. There was even lime scale inside the pipe I could see, so I've actually poked that away as well, so it's looking pretty clean in there now. No weird sort of bits poking out. So that's the new washer. I've also unscrewed this fully. As you can see, if you unscrew this, you can actually get to all the mechanism. I've had that out, put grease in there. A little bit tricky to get back in, as you can see. Let's actually take it straight out so you can see. So there we go. So I've had a bit of grease in there just to give it a little bit of kind of smoother action. And then once you've done that, it's a case of reseating. These don't need to be tight actually, from what I gather. So let's just nip it up a little bit. Use this spanner. So that's probably about enough. And I'll get the rest of the bits and pieces. Hopefully it should turn off. There, yeah. Yeah, a nicer action I think now. It's a lot more spongy, less kind of like it was going down to a piece of metal. It's more rubber, you can feel there, a lot more, yeah, nicer. So, job done. So, insert back in, screw on the top. Job's pretty much ready to go, that's it. So overall, I have to say that is an amazing tool. I've already wrecked it, as you can see. This is kind of stuck on by a piece of tape, not really laminated, but there we go. I have to say I recommend that. Made the job really easy. Without this, I would have probably had scratches on here, and this would have moved, and you know, whatever else could have happened would have happened. Probably no me, but this has made a hell of a difference. So I recommend that for 25 quid or whatever. Buy it. Job done.